For Pascoe, Vale.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I'm pleased to rise on the Road Safety and Ports Bill of 2026. In doing so, I support the bill, of course, as the State Member for Pascoe, Vale, Coburg and parts of Brunswick West, but I also, of course, support the bill as the newly appointed Parliamentary Secretary for Community Safety, because every single person in our community deserves the right to be and feel safe in their homes, in their streets, in their neighbourhoods, and in their communities generally. And that includes when it comes to road safety as well. Keeping people safe on our roads, whether as drivers, as commuters, as public transport users, tram users, as people that are vulnerable road users, walking, pushing a pram, walking to school, cycling a bike, elderly people as well with walking frames. Every single person has the right to be and feel safe on our roads just as much as any other part of our community. In that respect, I acknowledge the Minister for Police, who is at the table as well and who has a big carriage part of this bill as well with respect to the road safety cameras. And this bill is an important element of our ongoing work to keep our community and our roads safe as well, because as the Shadow Minister touched on, and I welcome and acknowledge that the opposition will not be opposing this bill because, frankly, road safety needs to be above politics and a bipartisan issue. But there's a number of elements in this bill as well, which include expanding and strengthening the role of point-to-point road safety cameras and speed enforcement, making permanent the exemptions for emergency services from the heavy vehicle national law, modernising the way road declarations and temporary road declarations are administered, amendments to various toll road management acts as well, including the Westgate Tunnel, North East Link Act, City Link Act, East Link Act and other related acts. It progresses actions from the Victorian Freight Plan and improves management of local ports, and it improves the Road Safety Act, including when nominating a responsible driver to be held accountable for an offence, along with a number of other miscellaneous type reforms. But when combined, this is all about, Deputy Speaker, making our roads and our streets and our neighbourhoods safer for everybody. And in Victoria, we've continued to take strong action over many years, I should say, when it comes to making our roads and streets safer, leading the nation and indeed the world in many respects too. Victoria was the first jurisdiction in the world to introduce a range of road safety measures, including mandatory seatbelts way back in 1970, random breath testing in 1976, speed cameras in 1986, mandatory bike helmets in 1990, random roadside drug testing in 2004, a motorcycle graduated licensing system in 2016, and these measures, of course, have been supported by the incredible work of the Transport Accident Commission's public education and education campaign since 1989, the TAC, and since then, of course, many other road safety organisations and bodies as well. The state's road safety policies and behavioural change programs have been credited for a major reduction in the road toll over these years as well, against a backdrop of increasing car registrations and population growth as well. And that steady drop, just listen to the numbers here, Deputy Speaker, as well. Since 1970, when around 1,000 road fatalities were recorded on average each year, 1,000 per year, compare that to the recent 5-year average, which sits at about 253 on average over the last 5 years. And in 2025, sadly, there has been an increase of 2.5% on the road toll of 291. But of course, every life lost and impacted is one life too many, Deputy Speaker. And that's why, as a government, we're progressing this bill, but we've also adopted the Road to Zero strategy, the road safety strategy, which is in the short term a 10-year aim to reduce road deaths by half and progressively reducing serious injuries by 2023. In this respect, I was very honoured to be part of the parliamentary inquiry on the vulnerable road user safety inquiry, which the chair, the member for Ballerine, is here, did incredible work as well. A bipartisan inquiry, I might add, with no dissenting reports. We all agreed we need to do more in this space, and the member for Glen Waverley as well, of course, was a key advocate in that inquiry as well. But what it found, contrary to some of the misconceptions around the state of the road and road infrastructure, what it found was that the leading drivers of accidents, deaths, near misses and serious incidents on our roads is associated by far and away with driver behaviour. Dangerous driving, aggressive driving, impatient driving, risk-taking, speeding, distracted driving, inattention, drink driving, drug driving, failure to wear seatbelts, when combined, are the overwhelming contributing factors and causes of tragic fatalities, accidents and incidents on our roads, as was demonstrated to us by Victoria Police and the many other experts who appeared before the inquiry. But that's also why this bill is, of course, so important. We remain committed as a Labor government to improving road safety outcomes across Victoria because we know that speeding contributes to 30% at least of road fatalities in Victoria and a quarter of serious injuries sustained by occupants of light vehicles. And the reforms in this bill seek to improve road safety outcomes by delivering those improvements that enable the enforcement of an average speed limit. Currently, the enforcement of average speed can only be undertaken where there is only one speed limit between two detection points, and the bill will expand the enforcement of average speed by allowing the enforcement of point-to-point average speed across a stretch of road that contains two or more different speed zones. An example of the road series of roads between two detection points could contain a stretch of road, for example, where the limit is 110 kilometres and a stretch where a limit is 80 kilometres, and another stretch where the limit goes back to 110, for example, Deputy Speaker. And the bill will introduce a new formula for calculating the average speed limit that applies between those two detection points that span those different speed zones in between. And the bill will introduce that new formula for calculating the average speed of travelling for those 2 points. And if the calculated average speed of the vehicle exceeds the calculated average speed limit between the two detection points, then the driver of the vehicle will be subjected to graduated penalties equivalent to existing speeding offences. And this requires the bill to introduce a new offence in the Road Safety Act. It'll be an offence for the driver of a motor vehicle to drive so that the average speed of a vehicle as calculated exceeds the average speed limit as calculated that applies on the total length of the road of those two detection points. And the bill also makes appropriate provisions for roads with temporary speed limits, roadwork limits and other factors to account for, accurately accounting for that point-to-point speed. Now, I'll just draw the House's attention to page 95 of the parliamentary inquiry in this respect because, there was a comment or two by the Shadow Minister that went to the assertion that this is all about potentially revenue raising. It's actually not, but the inquiry was very clear on this and the evidence from independent submitters was very clear. Victoria's Road Safety Camera Commissioner Neville Taylor and the Monash University Accident Research Centre MURAC shows that, and I quote from the report, the presence of road safety cameras and the enforcement experience people have does have an impact on reducing the incidence of collisions involving trauma either at intersections or the kind of proximity of that area, and that is an evidence base that adds to the benefits of road safety cameras as one part of the suite of road safety suite of enforcement program. Road safety experts believe that road users are more likely to change their behaviour from a fear of receiving a penalty rather than a fear of a collision. This theory is supported by the 2023 survey conducted by the Office of the Road Safety Commissioner, which found 55% of drivers who had received an infringement notice for speeding now slow down all or most of the time that they are what they consider to be a more careful way to drive now. And page 99 went on to say, research broadly has shown that road safety cameras with both general and specific deterrent effects are one of the most effective ways to save lives and get motorists to slow down. We know that when we have got mobile cameras set up on regional and rural roads in particular, there is an improved behaviour and change to behaviour, and crash data drops and incident data drops. Again, page 99, the distracted driving cameras which were introduced on May 2023 are estimated to prevent 95 crashes that result in death or serious injury each year. For the first 3 months, drivers who were detected with distracted driving or seatbelt offences were sent an advisory letter to alert them of detection. In this period, over 12,000 advisory letters were sent. Of these, 42%, 5,000 were for portable device offences, 45%, about 5,500 for driver seatbelt non-compliance, and about 1,500 for passenger seatbelt non-compliance as well. And early data suggests from that original trial that similar trends have continued following the grace period and an evaluation of the camera's operations which were conducted. And I acknowledge the Minister for Police again in August 2025 who released some further results on the difference these cameras are making. And he said the latest road safety camera stats show that more Victorians are getting the message to stay focused on driving, with a 36% decrease in the number of infringements issued by the cameras from January to March this year compared to the same period last year. In Q3 of 2024-25, there were 19,063 infringements issued for not wearing a seatbelt properly and for not using devices while driving. Well, during the same time last year, there was 29,832 infringements issued. And so there you go, Deputy Speaker. It goes to show that when people know there are more road safety cameras out there, whether based on speed or point-to-point or distraction cameras, people's behaviour will change, and people's behaviour is the leading contributing factor that we have to tackle to reduce the road toll and reduce the number of accidents we have across the community. Of course, there's quite a number of other, I'd love to go on for another 10, 20 minutes or so. I'd love to have taken the Shadow Minister's time. He left I think, about 15 minutes on the clock. There's so much to talk about on this bill, but I'd like to just draw the attention as well of the Minister and the Government to the measures we're taking in my community of Marybeck as well. We are making our local roads and streets safer. We've removed 4-level crossings crossings through Coburg. But whether it's Nicholson Street, Bell Street, Coonans Road, Murray Road, Melville Road, Sydney Road, Moreland Road, we are working to make these streets safer, but there's always more to do, and I continue to work with all those stakeholders across the community to make our other roads and streets safer. Thank you.
Member for South West Coast.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I